In the heart of an abandoned town lies a hospital forgotten by time. Its walls whisper tales of sorrow and suffering long buried. For decades, locals have spoken in hushed tones about strange occurrences. Stories of ghostly figures wandering the halls at night persist. But it wasn't until recently that the hospital garnered nationwide attention. A group of urban explorers documented their eerie encounter on social media. The footage showed shadows moving independently of any light source. Voices, barely audible, seemed to call out for help from within the walls. The hospital, once bustling with life, now stood as a testament to desolation. Intrigued by these accounts, I decided to investigate firsthand. Arriving at dusk, the atmosphere was thick with an unsettling silence. The entrance was guarded by rusted gates, their hinges groaning in protest. Inside, the air was stale, tinged with the scent of decay and neglect. Each step echoed through the empty corridors, amplifying the silence. In the maternity ward, I found a nursery filled with crumbling cribs. A doll head-sized sewn shut hung from the ceiling, swaying gently. Moving deeper, I stumbled upon the operating theatre, untouched since its closure. Instruments, still arranged on tarnished trays, seemed to await the next patient. But it was the operating table that captured my attention. Its leather surface was cracked, yet bore the faint impression of a body. Suddenly, a cold draft swept through the room, extinguishing a nearby lantern. In the basement, the air grew even heavier, pressing down on my chest. Morgue doors, slightly ajar, revealed empty steel slabs covered in dust. But one slab bore out the outline of a body, as if someone had recently rested there. Footsteps echoed behind me, growing louder, then abruptly stopping. Turning, I found nothing but shadows dancing in the flickering light. Returning to the main floor, I entered a ward where patients once recovered. On one bed, the sheets were rumpled, as if someone had just risen. A faint whisper, barely perceptible, seemed to say, "Help me." Chills raced down my spine, and I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. My investigation led me to the hospital's archives, buried beneath decades of dust. Old records spoke of a series of mysterious disappearances decades ago. Patients and staff vanished without a trace, leaving behind only empty beds. Theories ranged from mass hysteria to something far more sinister. One particular case stood out, a young girl named Emma, last seen in the attic. The attic was a labyrinth of forgotten medical supplies and broken equipment. Amid the clutter, I found an old doll remarkably similar to the one in the nursery. Hidden beneath a floorboard, I had discovered a diary belonging to Emma. Its pages detailed her terror, speaking of invisible hands and voices in the night. As twilight descended, I realized the hospital was more than just abandoned. It was a prison holding onto the souls of those who never left. My camera captured orbs of light floating through the air, unexplainable by science. The sense of dread intensified, pushing me towards the exit. But as I reached the doors, a final whisper echoed in my mind. "You're next." The escape was a blur, the hospital's gates closing behind me with a final ominous thud. What I witnessed defied logic, yet left an indelible mark on my soul. The haunted hospital remains an enigma, its secrets buried beneath layers of history. But the question remains, are the souls of the lost still trapped within its walls? Or did I imagine it all, a victim of my own curiosity? Subscribe to find out more in our next investigation, where we delve deeper into the unknown. Will you join us, or remain in the safety of doubt?